everybody. I am MrGamingGuitarist, and the second episode of the second part, rather, of the 2-hour season premiere of Halt and Catch Fire just got finished airing, and I say that because they already had the first episode available online to watch, but you couldn't watch the second half of the 2-hour premiere until it aired tonight on AMC. So the episode just finished watching, and I'm here to tell you what I think about it. So this episode was called One Way or Another, and you could definitely feel that theme, the theme of that title happening throughout the episode. So it was really interesting. So I finally found out what, and also, of course, full spoilers for this episode. If you have not seen this episode, please watch it, because I will be going throughout the whole thing talking to you as if you've watched the episode. So that is your spoiler warning. So when this episode starts, you see... So I finally found out that guy's name. The guy that wants to keep the private messages private. I don't have to keep calling him that. His name is Ryan Wright. And it's funny because... all I could think about was the guy that formerly called himself Ryan Wright from The Real Rejects, but he now uses his real name, Greg Alba. So it's kind of funny because it's kind of messing me up, because when I think of Ryan Wright, I think of that guy that I watch on YouTube, not this guy. But so that's gonna be a quick brain switcheroo adjustment, but. Anyways, so we found out what his plan was all along. He wants to work for Joe. Now, what exactly does he want to do with it? We don't know, but I really liked that speech he gave, where he goes into his office and he says it looks like he's testing him without saying anything. Like he feels like he's always being judged when Joe's just sitting there with his now mid-80s beard and glasses, and he's just there with his arms crossed, just looking at him. But I really did like that line where he says, I feel like I'm gonna tell you the sky is blue, but I feel like you would be disappointed in that answer. And then he said things like, yeah, you are wrong. It's not blue, it's overcast. That's the thing about Joe. It's like, he fucks people over left and right. That's part of who he is. But you know that he does bad things, and he always fucks people over, but you can't help but Lee Pace is such a good actor. Like, you can't help but just laugh along with him at how fucked up the things he's doing are. And you can tell, like, sometimes you don't know whether he really does like someone, or if all he does is take advantage of him. Based on the things that he's doing in the past, where he works with Gordon, I thought that works out really. I thought that maybe he's going to be thinking of him as more like a mirror for Gordon. But other than that, we really don't know yet. So maybe maybe to him, Ryan is like the Gordon 2.0. But will he also take an idea from Gordon, take an idea from Ryan at the end of season 3, then the beginning of season 4? He makes a shitload of money and expands his company off of one of his ideas. We don't know yet. But speaking, but now we've been talking about Gordon a lot, so let's talk about what Gordon did in this episode. So here's the thing. I was not expecting Gordon and Joe to have their first full meeting together in this season this early on. I thought this was something that they were going to completely build up, and it will be like this big, huge moment, like, oh my god, they're seeing each other for the first time this season, what the hell's gonna happen? But then right as he films that, like, I'm gonna guess the camera, or when he films him talking or describing it to him with that lawyer about which I assume would be for the lawsuit for when he's suing him, I assume he's going to say, he's talking shit about him, and he just says, because Joe McMillan is, then the fucking door opens, we're like, oh shit, it's finally happening. It's happening right now. Oh god, I was not expecting this to happen. Oh god. Oh god, here we go. Here we go. What's gonna happen? And then he he wants to give Gordon 70% of the company. And you can see how conflicted Gordon is. And it's also a testament to how great of an actor Scoot McNairy is, and how great like the chemistry is building between the actors. It's like you can tell like they know each other, they've spent time, like they know how to work with each other in the scene, and just the way it works, it's so good. Like how you could tell in his eyes, Gordon's trying to accept the offer. Or is he not trying to accept the offer? Does he just want to say a big fuck you to Joe for everything you've done? And then in the end, that's exactly what he does. He just says, I don't want to work with you. And so even though he's turning down a shitload of money, he knows that he does not want to be buddy-buddy again with this guy that supremely fucked him over once. So even though you could tell that Joe is trying to... we don't know. It's like, was that thing that Joe was trying to say, was that sincere? Because he says, oh, I'll sign anything you got. I'll hand Gordon 70% of the company, 70% of, I believe it's called Macmillan Utilities or something like that. But he just goes ahead and does that. But anyways, now, another really good scene is... you can really see how much Cameron and Donna are really bonding together in this. You could tell, like, you can really see how much they're almost like family to each other now, and but seriously, when them going from investor to different investor, talking about passing and all this stuff, it's like. It's really tough because you can't tell if all the people that they were looking at, are they just a bunch of sexist assholes, or do they just genuinely not like what they have to offer? Because seems to me it's more of option A. But with those guys that they talked to in the beginning, then they invited them out to dinner, and you think it's a good moment, because they're all celebrating and hugging each other on the phone and the speaker, and then they finally get there and then they say, well, we need to get your options. Well, you know what? Oh god, my stomach started like churning when that guy took the champagne and he just started pouring Donna a glass, and he says, well, we don't want 1.4 million, but, he says something along the lines of, we'll give you this lesser amount, but we're not going to give you that to you. We'll just give you that, where's my hands? Okay. We'll just give you that lesser amount. And let's, after we see where this evening goes. And, alright, all excited, like, oh man. Like, when that happened, and you see the rage in Cameron's eyes, you could tell she just wants to fuck this guy up. Oh man, I was wanting them to just throw a drink in those assholes' faces, but yeah, it's like, fuck those people. They only want to give them a lesser amount than what they're asking for, only after the two of them fuck them. Fuck that shit. Fuck that guy. So anyways, it's just, it's a sad thing, the whole thing about the sexism of the way the times were and all that, and I'm glad that we're living in 2016 where those issues are progressing to be on their way out. So anyways, but still, it's fucked up what they have to go through. But then I thought it was even crazier later on when we got to see when we saw Joni's birthday party, and then you find out I'm really sorry, excuse me for a minute, I gotta mute this, I got something in my throat. Anyways, so when you hear that Joni invited, and it's funny because after I forget what her name was. Shit. I think it's Diana, oh god, like the kid that Joni got into a fight with. When it was funny because we thought that she actually invited her over to the party, but then you find out that she only did that because Cameron gave her $20, and it's so funny because it's like it's awkward. Why would the two of them speak? It's like, oh god, there's Diana. She's in here. That kid's mom, and then like, oh god, how's this tension going to be like? We don't know. And then it turns out it's because there's another company that's doing the whole online trading thing, except they're a sports company just selling sports memorabilia and thingamabobs like that. So so it turns out she's not an asshole at all. They're patching things up together, but seriously though, after that whole scene, when what's going on with my eyebrow there? Anyways, when Gordon gives Cameron the $20, saying, "Hey, thanks for helping out with the party," I have a feeling that this is gonna blow up in their face. This is going to be the pin that drops. That's going to lead to a big, huge argument between Gordon and Donna and Cameron, where it's like Gordon not saying that Cameron gave Joni $20 to invite that girl over to the party that she hates. I have a feeling that's going to come up later, and when it does, oh boy, shit's gonna be in the doghouse. Oh boy. Okay, so anyways, but at the end, though, when Ryan says he's working for Joe, and you can see the pain that Gordon's going through, and you don't know how, and you could see, he's crying, he has to wipe his eyes. Or maybe it's the light. They also signified that light bulb. I don't know what it was, but I remember before, in season 2, I believe he had prostate cancer or some sort of cancer, and that hasn't been brought up yet. I'm surprised that, because it was a big thing last season. So is he done with that, or is that pressure going to come back because he lost a guy, a brilliant coder, over to someone that he now sees as a once friend, now turning into an enemy, and it hurts him. So what is Gordon going to do about that? We don't know, but I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I loved it. So yeah, this is even better than the first episode. This is for me though, if there was, and I can't really think of anything that went wrong in this episode. So, for me, this was a goddamn 10 out of 10 for me. And I don't give 10s often, but this was some good fucking television that I loved. So anyways, I can't wait for next week, and I'll see you in next week's review. So if this is your first time watching me, I'm Mr. Gaming Guitarist. You can subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on future reviews for this season of the Halt and Catch Fire, and you can check out my other videos as well. And I also host a weekly podcast on the N4G TV YouTube channel you can check out, and I also have a Patreon page that I would appreciate it if you choose to support it. So anyways, that's how you can keep up with me, and I will see you on my next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.